Hello everybody, my name is Tan from Apply ML team. Today I want to walk you through a quick video showing how to recording demo videos with OBS. So OBS stands for Open Broadcaster Software, is a great open source software that allow you to do recording videos, but also various different things as well. Not only recording but also streaming and things like that if you ever need to do that. So this video is mostly focused on how you just do recording videos. So I'll walk you through four major parts in here. One is to how kind of install OBS really quick. Go to the website and pull out and then just pull it, kind of do it installations. Configure OBS. So we're going to change a few settings in the standard stock settings of OBS. And then we're going to add a bit of GitLab flair into, like, whether that can be a backgrounds, a little kind of mask on the video capture or screen and things like that. So, and a few things are also highlighted here around screen resolutions and aspect ratios as well, things like that. And might just do a quick recording and show you how it's actually happen in actions where everything worked together. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, first thing first, we're going to install Open Broadcaster Software, OBS Studio. So just head straight to the website, obsproject.com, and just pick the right one for your platform. I guess most of you are going to be Mac OS anyway, and there's no difference between Intel or M1. We just click on the one in there, and it takes a while to download. It's about 145 meg, but if you're on a fast speed, that might take a little bit quicker, I guess, this year. And okay, so let's move to the next steps where we're gonna open, run, install, and configure OBS. Okay, so let's get starting on the first steps of installing OBS Studio. So after we download it, we're gonna click on it and start the installations. You can see here, I'm gonna drag it over to applications and take a while to load. And here we go. So we've got a running app here. So first time you click to open, it will ask for this as well, security reasons, nothing harmful. We just have to click and run it. So the first out of configuration widget to open up and ask you to have kind of a preset settings and optimize for various different kind of purpose. I will take optimize just for recording. It will not be streaming, but your use case could be vary. So some people use OBS even for as a virtual camera as well. So if you ever need to do that, that'd be great if you have the streaming setting. But we'll come in and do it a little bit further into more details in the next part. So let's do recording for now and click on next. The base canvas resolutions, I would use 1920 and 1080. I think this is the kind of a common screen resolutions, and it fit most. My display is actually really wide, so you can see here it's 6400 by 266. It's a wide screen, an LG wide 38 screen. Recording on this display with the canvas resolution like this not fit well. The output gonna look a little bit weird if you open into the standard kind of max screen or any kind of 16:9 aspect ratio, for example. So I'll go for 1928. So that, I think, oh, hold on, yeah, that's the default. That's great. FPS, I tend to play a little bit safe and go for 30, otherwise you get a bit of a lag going on. So FPS stand for frame per seconds. Stay for use current at 30, I think is the great suggestion there. So after you do all of that, start kind of synchronizing and apply all the settings, and we'll come up in a minute. All right, so it looks good to me. I mean, your will vary between, I think, different screen resolutions depending on what screens you have, but I think this is mostly will be the same, I guess. Apply settings, and you can see here that I have a blank screen. Okay, so the next part we're going to do is to start with configure it, right? All right, so you can see there's a scene here, the scene panel, and this is the source panel. Let me turn on my cursor here to make it a little bit clearer. So this is scene panel, the source panel, the audio mixer, and the controls. I guess I mostly use the recording and stop recording. Don't really use streaming and virtual camera a lot, but I mean, that's an option there. So first thing first, we want to add a camera. So we're going to basically create 3 scenes that we use mostly. So one is a full kind of camera view scene. The second part is the kind of a screen share with the little camera kind of windows on the side. And then there's a browser share, which I normally use. It's just to share particularly the browser windows and a little kind of camera windows as well. So we're going to do 3 scenes, and we're going to have to create a bunch of sources that can go in a range of different scenes. So scene is the collections of source and the arrangement of it. So we'll just start with that scenes there, and we're just adding the sources in. So first I would like to add a display capture. So I have 2 cameras. This one is the Logic Gear, what you can see straight in there, and I have another one from my from Mac. These the camera come with the Mac as well. I tend to go with the higher resolutions. It's better. If there's no choice, then I will go for the one on the Mac. Okay. So I just name it Logitech. Oops, I think I did the wrong one. So that's the screen capture, sorry. Not to be not the display capture, it's actually a video capture, sorry. Yep, so Logitech. Cool, so it will pop up here, so we'll just automatically pick up 2 devices on my computer. One is the FaceTime and the Pro Stream webcam. Let's go for Pro Stream. So here we go. So I got that. Just dealing with for the preset, if possible. Go okay. So here you got the source straight in. So let's add a few more. Okay. So you can actually resize it, and the black kind of backdrop is actually what is going to be shown on the recording. All right. So this is that. The next one is to add a browser window. So I'm going to just do that. So let's do window capture and just go browser. So there's a lot of windows on my computer. I use an app called Mint just for browser. I don't use Firefox. I think mostly Mint is kind of a lean browser with no menu bar. It's quite nice and simple for demo, so I tend to use that. So we can do that one, and immediately you see there's all display gonna go wonky in there. One is because I have different resolutions. My screen is really wide, and I think I'm trying to adjust to it, and it's not really do it justice. So what we're going to do next is we're going to change the settings to make sure that kind of nicely fit. So one way we can do is to right click and do transform and to fit to screen. And this is great as well. So this is the quickest way to set it. Okay, and as you can see here, you can change that view and close a few windows. Go back to OBS. This is what it's showing in there in the backdrop there. And cool, so it looks great on the browser. It fits straight in the screen. In fact, because I already resized this Windows, so by default, this is really wide. So if I go full screen, you see what I mean by that. So if I drag this Windows like full screen, okay, in OBS, what you're gonna see is it's go wide like this. You got a lot of black kind of on the top and the bottom there, and it's not really nice. Sometimes I do sometimes people like to display extra information on the top and the bottom, and that work fine as well. Most of the time you kind of don't have it in the middle, but move on the way to the top. So one way to do it is to actually transform and go, in fact, you can just drag it, right? So drag it always to the top, so make sure it's nice, fit straight in here on the screen, and that will do. Okay, and the bottom you can use for other display if you want to, but it's still, there's a big parts in here that is black, so it's not really ideal. So one way we can do is to go to the settings and make sure it's set to the right resolutions. Regardless of your screen resolutions, we want it to output it to 16:9 if possible. So that will be a better choice. So first things, I would just try to change the output mode into advanced, okay, and then give you access to the different options here. Recording is something we want to change. Type standards, I think that's good. The recording format is MKV, make sure that is the case. The encoding, just try with different options. I think depending on your computer, the different hardware accelerations, graphic cards also play a big role here. I'm using an Intel computer, it's on M1, and this Apple hardware encoder is really slow. Both the hardware and the software are really slow, and what I mean by that is you're going to see a lag in your video when you start looking at the cameras, and then there's a lag in the voice and also the image come through it. So the X264 worked better on my machines, and it just, by trial and error, I think pretty much you'll see that. And we'll make sure that it's always scaled to the 1920 and by 1080. Okay. Cool. I think that's good. The MKV looks good to me. The video is in other settings. Audio we don't need to change much. I think just leave it as default. Video, make sure that is set to the aspect ratio of 16:9. So you can increase the resolution, but it still should fit into the aspect ratio of 16:9. So it looks better for common, across all the screens. Otherwise, if you don't, most of the time it would just kind of default to your standard screen resolutions, and sometimes it's not ideal. So for mine, it'll be like 6400 by 2666, which is the widescreen resolutions. When it come out, it's gonna have the top part black and the bottom black, or so. But so stay with that. Cool, and make sure the FPS value is 30, and that's good. So just come back here, and you see that is actually still the case over there. Okay. For me, I think depending on your use case, you can scale it. I guess you can scale it and display a part of it, but it's not really great. You can see that it's not, and sometimes it's not synced up with your display when you start demo and you're not seeing the screen. It looks a bit wonky. So the few ways that I can, well, what I use to address it is, one is to scale my browser windows. Okay, so first is I make sure that these fit vertically, so the height is actually full fit, and then I just use the right kind of extra space to show something else, or maybe just leave it as is. But as long as I don't have, you know, the top and the bottom or two parts separate, that look nicer. So what I'm going to do next is to do that. So we go to transform, edit transform, and go position top left, scale to the heights of bounds. Cool, that's good. And then close. So you can see there is actually it's actually scaled too much, I think. Yeah. Okay, so it's scaled to the height, but it's gone too far. Next, they're gonna kind of resize the windows. As you resize, you see it's actually on the screen here in the background. Just want to make sure that it's does look right. So it's a little bit fiddly, but once you do that right, so you can see there's still a fair bit of things to go. Okay, so that looks good. Yep, and cool. And the heights is really important too. And when you resize the height, it's actually resize the whole thing because of the aspect ratio. So let me kind of fill in with that real quick and see if it's actually adjust. A few things we can do as well is to make sure that is, in fact, the fit to screen does do it, right? Yeah, fit to screen does do the trick for me. Not to the right place, but make sure you can extend it. Oops. That. Cool. Too much. Yeah, looks about right. It's in the bottom, maybe. It's easier to do that. Yeah, just about right. So when I set that up, I'm not going to change it again. As far as like the browser window is. Okay, so it looks good. It's cover most part, I think. All right, and then this is actually order. So whatever on the top will show. I guess what we'll do is to later the logic check on top. And that's going to be resized and put on the corner here. Okay, so it's a lot of view around my area, which is I don't really like to. So next is going to be applying a mask on the camera. So it's adding a bit of flare on here, and I want to use the GitLab logo in order for us to do that. So one thing we can do, go to Logitech, click on filters, apply filters, click on image mask and plane, go with that, yes. I can kind of include the artifacts in the videos as well in the link below, so just have a look at that. and download if you want to. So there's a few different masks you can do. You can do a kind of circle one that's very similar to what I use here on recording by using Loom, because my OBS is not set up yet. We can use a GitLab logo. So this one is the one that adapted from the logo from the brand assets. Something that's good as well. So it looks great. I think the default will work fine because it's using the colors FFF to kind of do the mask, so that's fine. Looks good. All right, so done. You can see here that's the mask is applied to my camera, so you can see that just a bit in the corner. So it's kind of shear away all the extra kind of spaces around there. And you can certainly resize it if you want to and place different places. Yeah, and that's that. I want to do this one as we can rename this, in fact, to be browser share. Cool. I want to do another one. It's called full camera. So this is one I just kind of like just want to talk and then not showing anything. Because we already add the source earlier in that screen, in that scenes, we're just going to be re-add but not really configure or anything like that. So just go and make sure you do the right display capture. Oh no, this is right. Yeah, that's right. So video capture, yeah, that's right. Logic add existing Logitech. Okay, so here we don't want to apply the mask. In fact, I think the mask is actually on all, I think. So maybe I want to duplicate it, in fact, because I think changing the source will affect the other one as well, which I have the mask. So this one I don't have a mask, which I would like to potentially, let's remove that. Just do a video capture device, full camera, full Logitech maybe. Cool, so create a new one. And this one I don't apply the mask on top of it. Cool, and make sure that it fit the whole screen. So go transform, fit to screen. Here you go. So you can kind of switch around to different view if you want to, and there's a fancy transitions you can do as well. And people normally add, use a quick keys to switch around, which is quite nice too. So there are a few things you can do with that. Transitions, you can do transitions of fade. Yeah, that looks like this fade there. The next one I want to show you is to do a full screen share. So this is the browser share. Sometimes you want to show the whole screen, and that's the most challenging in bits compared to the others. So let's get to it. So the other thing is just adding a screen. It's as simple as that, and it's just adding the items. I want to reuse the camera, the video capture with the mask. So I'm gonna pick the Logitech one, not the full, and just make sure you're resizing it so it doesn't remember. So I think you can hold down the Shift key to make sure it retain the aspect ratio, and just place it in the corner there. Cool. And the next one, the next source is actually the whole screen, which we don't have that yet, so we're going to add that in. Okay, so that will be a display capture, not a window capture, display capture, full screen. Okay. Let's do that. And you can see that it's actually captured my full screen as an LG. You can switch around and do a retina or the full screen here. I tend to have an extra screen when I do demo, just where I can have a look at what, the prompter or anything like that going there. Crop, I don't know what they need to crop to. Rarely use it. Okay, just let's do. Okay, all right. You can see this OLED, already been distorted too. Very similar to what we had earlier with the browser, because it's just based on the native screen resolutions. What I can do is I kind of go onto transform again. Let's edit transform, go to top left, the bounding box, and make sure I scale to the heights of bounds. Close. Does it actually do it? Doesn't. Can I do a fit to screen? Yeah. I think fit to screen would be better. But then I have to kind of adjust it to make sure that it fits to the heights. The full screen's always been hard to adjust. Transform, edit transform. What if we do stress to bounds here? Oh, that's not nice. Scale to outabouts. Yeah, I think that looks good. Yeah. All right, so let's actually scale it to the height, I think, and not to the width, which make this experiment look a little bit funny. Yeah, so as you do, this actually does a scale automatically too, which is odd. Most of the time you do a full screen, I think this is the best options that I can find. You have to leave the top and the bottom like that, or move it to one corner, right, and then leave these bits there, which then allow you to potentially, I would say if I have a Logitech coming above, so if I have that, then I tend to have the camera down this way and display that there, and have some kind of link and things like that, things I talk about here. Or maybe we can add an overlay. So we can do that. So instead of black, we can add another overlay. Also, maybe just a media source, or maybe an image. Sorry, yeah. So just call it background, and do that. I've got an image from. So this is what you can get from Brand Assets. A lot of different wallpapers, and it's a great place to present key GitLab values and things like that. So I can do GitLab values or screen or DevOps loop, for example. So for example, I can do that at the backdrop and move it to the bottom. So what happened is coming in the bottom here. So people see that's the background. So sometimes you have text in there. I think let's pick another one. See if it actually show up. Maybe remote, for example, I would do. Yeah, that looks good. So you got the all remote kind of thing in the bottom. And that camera can go here. Okay, so that's good. So you can switch around, say hello, and do a screen share, talk through it, and then do a screen share with the browser, showing how things are going. I use Min again. I think it's great. And you can start, showing things around the thing, which is really cool. And then, and this is it's Galley Draw, by the way. You can create kind of drawings, and then you can do a full shares of things. So this one I'm using Loom because before we set up everything, I don't have OBS as what to use, so that's why it looked a bit funny there. So a little circle in the corner and the further top right is actually from Loom, and the little things on the Fox mask is actually on OBS. Okay, so that's pretty much it. This is actually in Actions as well as what it show or view in OBS. So hopefully it's helpful to you, and you find it's really great to start looking at, you know, using OBS for more fancy kind of recording. For simple setup, I would say, you know, if you have access to Loom, and I do believe that we have an account, I guess you need to have an exit request raised with the team and then get it sorted, and you can record further or more than 30 minutes. By default, I think on free plan, we have only kind of up to 30 minutes. But if you're more, you know, kind of a fancy kind of setup, and you don't mind filling a little bit with the sounds and with the widescreen monitors and aspect ratios and so on and so forth, and you want, you know, more flexibility around your setup, like the backdrops and the mask of the cameras and other things, and you want to switch around it really quickly, like what I do here. Like during my demo, I can kind of switch around and say, talk to you, do a demo, do a full screen, because I want to do a demo with the editor and things, with an editor or a terminal window, for example. That works nice as well. So again, yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I will including some of the assets that I showed up in here, the mask, the backdrops and things like that in the video description, so you can have a look and reuse it if you want to. But I think that pretty much it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.